think we're live. Yes, and now I have audio. Okay, should be all good. How are we doing today? TZ, Trickshore? I think I said that right. TZ, I have pizza, chips, and cider. Now EOE Dream won't get any better than this. No, it won't. Alright, I'm gonna start in-game today, I think. Hello, Nuggetsaurus. There goes. Skip. QA join server. Okay, I'm hoping stream's a little bit better than it's been the past couple times. I'm finally in my new apartment and I have some pretty good internet, but we'll see how well it holds up. As you can see, once it loads, it loads. The tribal loaded. What a great start, game. Let me reload it. Life. There we go. As you can see, the Peru is here now. In-game, soon ready for you guys to come and play with. It's been doing very well in QA. There's just a few minor bugs and stuff. And we'll get those sorted. Yeah, that works. Hey Fox, how are you today? I am not going to start this in the middle of the night. $9 AM weather. There we go. And that's right. I don't have the new spawns in. The Peru has some custom spawns now that'll spawn it in the water, but they're not in this build. Next one. Tired and sick. Why is everybody sick? There are a couple devs that are sick. No, you're sick. I have a friend who's sick. Ay, ay, ay. I'm doing good though. I've been enjoying the new apartment. It's nice and I've been enjoying the peaceful loneliness. This is the first time I'm actually like on my own fully, and it's kind of been nice. I want to have a different spawn. Any upcame? Can you show Peru swimming in water, please? Yes. I slayed myself so I can get a new spawn that'll actually get me near water, hopefully. I do want this like bluish gray skin though. Okay, I think I'm near water. Yes. Oh, this is very close. So one of the Peru spawns is actually in this little pond over here. So this is close to where it will be. Oh, that's another little thing that has changed. Before, your juveniles would have the male patterns on them to start. Now they will spawn and only have every other color except that one until we get some juvie skins. Any upcoming performance updates being compared to what we have now in public? Absolutely. The performance is much better than it has been. I mean, I'm getting 70, 80 FPS here, and I'm streaming on top of that in 2K, I think. I think it is. A little swamp puppy. Oh, there's, I don't know if I showed this last time, but the sounds are different now. So up top, you feel the full sound. Underneath, it gets muffled. Small little touch there, but it's really good for the peruse to come with the Peru. Awesome. Growth-based patterns is such a good detail. Yeah, I think it was working for now. Even just removing the male highlight has already helped tremendously, but what we're going to do is get a single juvie pattern for every species, just the one. And as you grow, you'll kind of adapt and change. Because I mean, most birds definitely do change a lot as they grow, but reptiles don't change too much. I mean, I have a bearded dragon, and she looks a little bit more colorful than she was when she was younger, but that's about it. I forget, somebody remind me, have you guys heard all the calls and sounds and stuff on the juvie and adult? I might just go through them again anyways. How do I get up on here? I think it's up here. Maybe I'm just too small. Come on. There we go. Okay. That's better. The underbite, yeah. He still has his little underbite. I think it's gonna be... We're gonna be kind of stuck with that for a little bit, but... Yeah. I don't know, I kind of like it. It gives it character. But yeah, the calls. I'll just go through those again. So the broadcast... And then... And then the friendly. Got our fun little death lasers. And And the 4 call. And then I'll have to go in engine to show you the juvie bite is using the adult one at the moment. And then it has a sniff. Your eyes don't blink all the way. You go about halfway and that's it. Oh, the game sounds are lower than the music. Hold on. I forget that I need to turn off that music when I'm doing that. Peru has a very good scent range, especially the juvenile. I think it can smell for almost a kilometer as a juvie. It's very, very good. Easy, do I need to do the other sounds? If I need to, I'll go back to them then, but I'll do the adult then. And you can see now I got that male highlight color. Do you blink correctly? Okay, the adult does. So there's the juvie. Please do the sounds again. Can do. I'll do the juvie ones then. Are you going to be coding today? A little bit. Anything I find here, I'll go and fix up, and then I'm going to be submitting everything after stream, because I have some people coming over, so I'll be hanging out with them. And we're going to do a build this weekend, and hopefully it comes out nicely. And then the 4. And then I need to go do the juvie ones again. You've already seen the animations, so I'll just go start swimming somewhere while I play them. The threaten. I forget if it's with Orano, but I know with Peru I can see it. My water is going up while I'm swimming, so that'll be something you don't have to worry about. One thing I will point out is you see that my food does not drain at all. We decided for the first bit of playtest, since we don't have any of the fish AI yet and its lungeability is still a work in progress, we're going to basically make the food drain 10 times longer than it would be, just so that when you guys are playing around with it, you guys aren't instantly dying from food or after, half an hour or whatever it is. I need to see it. Oh, just dropped all the way down there. Zach, how's it going? Low quality raptor. Why did you decide to start with Peru instead of something smaller or easier to develop? I cannot recall exactly why. I think it was something Islander had decided upon, so if he's in stream or if you see him in chat at all, in the Discord. You can ask him. As per your second part, with something easier to develop, overall, it doesn't matter how large or small these things are. It's still about the same time to go through the entire process of sound design, animating, modeling, and coding. The only thing that makes it easier or harder is what abilities they have. So I mean, on terms of complexity with coding, Brew and Eocar are actually pretty much the same. Arano is actually the easiest of all of them because it has one shove ability, and that is a very simple knockdown. Yeah. I think that should be okay. Let me pull this up for you guys. I don't mind sharing this. That'll be the next thing I need to get implemented. Yeah. Rivers in the human island feels very narrow for encountering other Peru or Spinos. Will the Dino Island have bigger rivers? I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't do the level design. I've actually been wondering if we're going to be getting another level design stream. We had that one from Suna, and I enjoyed watching that a lot. But then there weren't any more. But yeah, I'm not sure. I know I can advocate for some things, um, and ask for some stuff, but ultimately they kind of do go through and design it how it needs to be designed with Islander. Get up there. Out of stamina. I don't have time for that. It drains stamina very, very quickly as an adult when you're running. And quick swim goes down an okay amount, but not as much as the run. I want that changed. Are you going to look into the mix packing problem, or are you going to let unofficial servers handle it? I'm sure unofficials will handle it more aggressively than we will, but we will have an anxiety system implemented that basically says if you're around species or large groups that your dinosaur will get sick and anxious from those and incur debuffs. Now this will be definitely thought out thoroughly enough that there won't be like little juvenile eocars causing Peru to be anxious and stuff. As simple as it is, I love that the sounds change now when you go underwater. It's such a subtle little change or a touch, but it makes all the difference now. I need Smougsy to hop on. Let me see. Oh, ignore this. Um, because the new eye is coming, I don't think we're really worried about updating for a Peru outline. Right. Let me see if Smougsy's on. Because she knows the map far better than I do. And I just don't know it well enough, unfortunately. Is ripples and splashes? There are not ripples and splashes yet. That's a bit more of a complex system I'm finding. And it's because of some features that don't work in UE as well as they should. And it's lo and behold, it's features they develop and create. But they're just not working the way they should. So we're trying to find different solutions for that. But it's also one of those kind of things that, like the camera chain or the sounds with the camera position, that is very easy and quick to do. It's a subtle change, but it's quick and easy to do. The ripples and stuff, again, subtle change, but because it's not as quick and easy to do, it gets pushed back further. So when you see us doing these more quality of life changes, it's because we're working on a system already that has that, and it just takes 5 extra minutes to implement or whatever. At least that's how my changes are done with the dinosaur. I shouldn't speak on behalf of Chica and stuff, but I would presume similar. Actually, I think there is more. Which way? North is up. So south is where the swamp is. I go that way, I should say. You could just see just how fast my stam just shot down as I was running that short bit. I think it's not meant to go on land. TZ says the splash sounds are a very big effect on jump scares when Peru comes out and grabs you. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, you're right with that. It has a bigger effect than some other things. But I mean, the sound design will be put in for there. I do think there are sounds actually for swimming and stuff. So I can definitely add those. I have to see if there's sounds for the larger ones. I know there's sounds for like smaller types of splashes, like for the juveniles, and they just haven't been added yet. Maybe we can go through and do that today. Is it as bad on land as Dino is in the Isle? Yes, pretty much. It's having played Dino in the Isle and stuff, it has a similar stamina capacity as it on land. It's not like the Eocar or Rano in EOE, where they can kind of run on land for a good 2 or 3 minutes. Just ahead. I think this waterfall goes down to somewhere. Okay, she's gonna do some stuff on that. Good. Now, when this guy is released to public, which should hopefully be soon, it's in the QA has been looking at it. I think I said that in the beginning of the stream. Things have been going very well. Just a few little touch-ups we want to do. And as so long as these next couple builds, maybe next build are going well, it'll come out to the public. I can see that the avoidance system is actually working. Or I can feel it rather, while swimming. That is nice. I didn't actually realize it would do that. Yes, there's more water down there. Can I get up here? Now, sneaky dev me knows that Drew's fall damage is higher than what it looks like it should be, so I can take this risk. Oh, famous last words. Never mind, I can't take that risk. Alright, we're going for the fire skin now. Spawn. Yes. Well, what's interesting about this pattern is the red coloring actually isn't where the male highlight is. It's that orange one that I added. So this one kind of does look a little bit more colorful as a juvie. Will there be, I love the water visuals in EOE, looks really nice. Will there be water current physics too? I think that's something we can add. It's just when we decide to add it. Again, going back a little bit further in the stream, when I was talking about the complexity of quality of life things to add, that will kind of be somewhere along those lines of one of the more complex things to add, but a quality of life thing nonetheless. Oh, is this the fun area that's broken? The world doesn't actually exist. Trying to get out of all this grass. Here's your fun little fact of the day. I think Air mentioned something about shorter grass in some areas. How many genres are currently in the game? Like, like species? There are 3, and then there's the tribals. The Peru, Orano, and Eokar. Oh, it's nice to say 3 now instead of 2. Because Peru will be in game very shortly. The corpses, I think what you're asking is, are the corpses going to be like corpses, like do their physics things again? No, not quite yet. Arano needs to get its animations fixed up and its physics fixed up. Hopefully, it'll be a lot quicker this time. I think we've kind of figured out what needs done to keep all the animations as they are with the Arano, and that should be fixed up hopefully by the end of the month. No guarantee that you'll get a build by then for it, but once Arano's ready, then everything else will be. When is early access releasing? We have an internal timeline on when we know when EA is going to be coming, but we do not have any public information on that just yet. And out of stam. Where's the water? There's a Dryoden. I can't dig that up. Peru will not have the digging ability that Eokar has. It'll come with most carnivores, but for Peru it won't because it is mainly an aquatic species, and it also will have all those fish around, so it doesn't really need it. Oh, good, my stam recovers nice and quick, and I'm only idle and not resting or sleeping or anything, which is not in yet, unfortunately. While that's going on, I want to mark down the juvie eyes. In all caps, fixed juvie eyes not fully closing. Should be Peru eyes, I should specify, or I'll just be confused. Alright, which way was that water? There's the den, there's the water. Oh, I think I know where I am. I think this is what they call like Cannibal Fort or something. I say they, it's usually the community and QA members that come up with the names for things. If it's not that, then I have no idea where I am, but it looks cool. I don't think it is. What is this? Oh no, don't be stuck. But I don't think I can get up in there. Is a diet system in the game? Yes, our nutrient system is in the game. The new UI that is coming for the dinosaurs will implement the kind of selection process for that. So right now everybody kind of has what's I'd consider the neutral best overall diet. The pathway that is selected, how do I want to word this? The pathway that you have selected at the start is allowing you to consume all the nutrients equally and lets you grow at the fastest rate, but it only provides small buffs, but it's across the board. With a new UI that'll come for the dinosaurs, you'll be able to select different pathways. So say you want to be heavily carb supported, you might have like large stamina buffs, but then you'll be losing out on your fats and your proteins, so you'll degrade in like health regen and that kind of thing. But it is as of current. It is the little DNA symbol over here. Castle is called Sanctuary, got it. Will there be juvie animations for the next patch? For Peru, no. It is just using all the adult ones. Let us see. So I want to keep going south because I want to get to the swamp. That's another little quality of life thing we could do. When I think of the swamp, I usually think of like duckweed and stuff, and like that duckweed texture you can put on dinosaur, or not just the dinosaurs, any character or anything. Um, I'd like to do that as well as like the mud effects and just an overall dirtier look when you're kind of traveling and stuff. But that'll have to wait until hygiene and stuff. We know the next dino in development after Tropio. Yes, Pachycephalosaurus. It has already have its model fully done. It has skins coming and being textured at the moment. But after that, then will be Dracovenator, which has its model. I don't actually remember how far along it is, but it has its model mostly done, halfway, somewhere around there. It'll need some textures and stuff. And after that will be Deinocheirus. I don't remember if I shared what comes after that then. I think I did, but I don't entirely remember. Interesting question. What is my favorite block in Minecraft? Um, I've not played Minecraft in a while, not gonna lie. I We're gonna get sidetracked here as we're traveling to the swamp, but that's okay. Um, I would usually play with like the create mod and stuff. So andesite would always be my favorite because of that. Favorite Minecraft block. Such a silly question. I like spruce wood. I like doing the classic like spruce wood and cobblestone and just mixing those in a build. Has tropial flying been worked on yet? Not quite yet. So Rar is, it's funny, Rar and I both kind of were moving at the same time. Um, I don't know where he was moving from, but I think he was moving a lot further than I was moving. I only moved like an hour away from where I was, well, half an hour actually, from where I was currently residing, so it was a little bit quicker for me to get set up, but I'm waiting for him to send me the Tropio model, and once I get that, then I'm going to be starting on Tropio Flight while I'm doing the other special animations, crowd control stuff for the dinosaurs. Out of pure curiosity, will Utahraptor have a pounce ability? Also, these graphics are insane. The graphics are very, very good. I'm really impressed, and I'm surprised how good they look and how well the game actually runs. It's really, really impressive what the team has done there. As per Utahraptor, let me check my sheet. Uh, Utahraptor is one of those ones that was going to be added earlier on, but then wasn't. So it actually has, I think, all of its stats. It does. It has most of its stuff kind of all set up and everything. 450 kilos, 6 meters long. Um, from juvenile, it'll take 72 minutes to grow. But if you have like a perfect diet, perfect well-being and stuff, which is technically impossible, but if you were to have all that at 100%, it would be 47 minutes. Um, its description is short distance runner with heavy bleeding capabilities. I like to think of it as your classic, the kind of like Jurassic Park Velociraptor or just a Utahraptor Deinonychus, any of that stuff, mixed with a cheetah. Um, and its abilities, it'll have a bite, and then for its directional, it'll have a directional kick, claw, bite, and I think, no, yeah, that one is if you're facing forward, it'll do the bite. If you're facing No, I think if you're facing behind you, it'll do the bite. Side to side is the claw, and then forward it'll kick. And then it has, for the alt secondary, a shred ability, which is basically a combination of all those put together that basically is just meant to do a lot of bleed to prey that's in front of you. You know, kick at them, scratch at them, bite them all at the same time. And then yes, it does have a pounce. And luckily the pounce, grabs, pins, even the staggers and stuff, those are all the same ability at their core, so it should be very easy to get the pounce set up then, since it's just one step below from the grab. Can't wait for Packy, it's my favorite dino. It's coming soon. It's once Tropio's done, then Packy. Packy is, it's a fun little dinosaur, and it's going to be an aggressive little angry guy in EOE. I've actually been having a very difficult time figuring out exactly what I want for the sounds as well. Now, luckily, the sound team has been working on Peru and some other stuff, and they'll have to be doing CC states for the other species. But once they're done with that, I have to figure out what I want for Packy. And so far, it's kind of been that's interesting. I lose stamina when I fall. I think that's because stamina is connected not to, or is connected to the speed in the code. So if your speed is above the run speed, and because Peru runs really slow, it takes out all that stamina. Do you know about how long till controller support is added or not? If it's not even in development yet, that's fine. I have no idea. I don't think it's in development. I think you can partially play with the controller as is, but it takes a little bit to set up. I do believe I need to make a left here, and then we're going to be at the swamp. This actually might be one of the other. I think it was TZ, was saying that the rivers, these rivers are much wider here. This is what you wanted. In fact, I think the rivers got some changes. There's quite a few map changes. Yeah, I think right here is actually one of the Peru spawns at this, where all these rivers kind of conjoin. Are there any sea creatures in the game? Um, Sort of, but not real. Like currently, no. To be added, sort of. Megalodon is going to be an AI, which is kind of like our outside border patrol, basically. So you know how some games might have like a flat, uh, bunch of mountains and stuff or trees to block you off. Some just put a barrier there, an invisible barrier, and that's good to go. What we're going to do is, because tribals wheel to float out there, there's aquatic species, and because we have flyers, what we're going to do is we're going to have a megalodon basically come and get you if you fly too far away from the island. As per playable, there is, I think, Crudoxphrynia it's our large shark that isn't megalodon that will be playable. I think technically it was a sea creature, but just so that we can add a shark and for gameplay purposes, it'll be freshwater. How did you get into game development? Do you have any advice? So my game development journey started, technically speaking, it started when I was like 9, when I was playing this game called Unturned, which is like a very blocky game where you go and fight zombies and stuff, and survive or whatever. It's a very bare bones basic Unity game, but it's a lot of fun. And you could do level design in there. So I would create my own maps, have my siblings play them, that kind of stuff. And then as I got older, kind of in high school and then college, I would do level design stuff in Unreal because that's kind of what I wanted to do at first is level design. But I learned quickly that it requires a very, very powerful PC and I could not afford that. So I then started looking at programming, and I kind of did some modding and stuff in Minecraft, some older games from like the 90s and stuff where you could mod those really easily. Just kind of learning how the file structure works and that kind of thing. And then in college, I took some coding courses, not too many. And through my second year of college, I think Islanders, when he started this game, I thought, you know what, I will. I don't know too much, but I know enough how to make the character work. Um, I think I could make this work, and I said, you know what, let's just see how this works. And thankfully, he brought me on, and I've been taking a couple more courses throughout. I've been learning from Chica a lot. He's helped me with C++ as well as a lot of online courses, articles, and kind of thing. YouTube is a huge help when you're first starting, and just learning from everything in game. It is a lengthy process though. I'm still learning every day. Chica's still learning every day. Um, there's a lot to take in with it, but it's something, I mean, if you put your mind to it, I mean, I've only been doing this for, what, it'll be 3 years now. This, at the end of the month, I'll have joined the team 3 months, or 3 years. So I've been doing this for about 3 years, 4 years really, because I've been in Unreal for about a year before that. But, but yeah, I think a lot of it is either going to school, getting all that training, spending a ton of time and money on that, and then hoping you get a job, or just doing what you can do on your own, learning from others, and hope you can get lucky. I find myself very lucky and fortunate to have gotten this position, and gotten to work with all these great people and learn from them. I mean, I've learned a ton from my coworkers, especially Chica. I mean, I've learned entirely about gas, and I've learned C++ now from the courses that he's recommended. So I think a lot of it just comes from knowing people. I do believe we're in the swamp now. I'll keep the night vision on just for now, just so you can see how long far that is. Now I gotta see, where was that question I answered? There it is. So about the diagram showed for the ecosystems like the hot springs and Everglades, how will that function for gameplay like the diet and shelter? Hot springs and stuff will be, so if you look up how hot springs are, you don't want to go in those usually, and it's the ones that it's like the geysers and stuff we have. So those will be pretty much just there to look pretty, and if you touch them, you turned into a roasted piece of meat. As per the Everglades and stuff, and I guess this kind of comes with the biome of the volcano and geysers and stuff. Different diet options will be available there. So within the swamp here, there is a lot of horsetails, tomatoes, and there's one more, and I can't remember what it is. Um, Up in the volcanic region over there, there are a lot of potatoes because potatoes can grow anywhere, so I put them in the harshest environment possible. As per shelter and stuff, caves that you can find will provide shelter to you from the weather, which will be extremely useful when we talk about the diet or the hygiene and what's it called? Disease systems. He looks so good wading through the water. I know it's a really nice animation. I mean, all the animations are good, but yeah. The Isle struggles with Bluetooth grabbing glitches with pounds after many, many years. No offense for saying, but isn't it a very hard thing to code and do? How are you going to accomplish it? So I cannot obviously share exactly how I'm going to accomplish it, but it's going to be a lot of trial and error, um, and a lot of back and forth on deciding when does the client have authority, when does the server have authority, um, who should do this when, that kind of thing. I know that sounds very generic because that's as good as I can give you right now, but Yeah, it'll be a lot. I mean, I'll be talking with Chica about it as well. I'll have to do a lot of research online. I mean, you'd be surprised how much of the time we spend just looking on at articles or whatever online and trying to figure out what others have done or figure out what this one system in UE does so that we can implement it ourselves to some degree. But it'll be a fun little hassle. One thing I'll note with Peru, and I'm still debating on whether it's going to stay, is stamina does drain while you're swimming like anything else. Now it's an 85-minute drain technically, I think, but if you're idle, it won't drain, which I think is an okay balance thing. Because I mean, you'll be idle, usually waiting for prey here or something, and you'll lunge out at them. But I mean, if you're really out of stamina and really need it, you can just go up on land, rest, and then you'll be good to go after a few minutes. But that gives a little bit of vulnerability there while you're up on land, which I think is good to have. I'm going to let this guy rest here, though, while I answer the rest of these questions, hopefully. Will any of the dinos have the ability to climb? Also, is there any news on Titanoboa? No news on Titanoboa yet, but Titanoboa will be able to climb, if that's news to you. Um, and I'm going to pause real quick. You can see how quickly my Peru is breathing. Wait until you see he's fully healed up, how much slower it is. Um, there's a few species that'll be able to climb. I can't remember them off the top of my head, and some of them will be able to scramble up trees and stuff. So yes, that'll be added for some species. You guys have a rough idea of what group limit will be for apex theropods? Um, I don't have an idea on that actually, and I'm in the kind of I don't want to add a hard group limit. Um, because I know there are people that want to play with their friends and stuff. So I think it'll be good to have, even if you can't be next to each other because of the anxiety system and disease system and stuff, that'll be kind of like their soft limits on that. I think it's still good to have those people in a group and stuff, be able to see where they are and whatnot. How much will the game cost? Between 20 and 30 USD. It just depends on what the overall market's looking at the time, kind of what other games are doing, um, kind of what we feel is necessary for the work that we're putting into it and what we are going to continue to put into it over time. Use a Packy, you can have a sound effect similar to something high-pitched mixed with some kind of bird that mixes high-pitched sounds and some of the antelope African Bovian sounds instead of goat. I like that. I kind of wanted some higher pitched sounds, but not too high pitched. I think I want it to have more of like a camel, American bison feel to it and as the base, and then have that some of that ostrich sound, kind of as the more middles and highs. But I still need to talk with Sound about that and see if she can mix something up for me. Remember you saying there were some dinos that could escape to the human island? Would there be any benefits or incentives to do this other than screwing around with humans? I mean, screwing around with humans is definitely one of the best incentives I think you can have for that. As per other incentives, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to say that we'll have some different nutrient options here. There'll be reasons to come here for different perks and skins and that kind of thing. Along with what Frenzy said, I have been playing and haven't seen a second island. Is it made yet or no? It has not been made yet. Not made yet. Yeah, the second island will be where dinosaurs spawn, first island where humans spawn, and then they can intermix and mingle. This allows us to have more. It allows us to have more players playing dinosaurs and humans at the same time, while being able to intermix with each other in some capacity, but you're not overrun by them. It's hard for me to wrap my head around, but I understand where Islander is coming from with it. He's much, excuse me, better to explain it. But basically, if you had one server, one island, you could have 50 humans, 50 dinosaurs playing, and that's it. If you have two servers, well, one server with two islands on it that are kind of acting as like mini servers, you can have twice as many of each. So then you can have, maybe 75 dinosaurs and 50 humans or whatever. So it's a way for us to add more players without increasing the server capacity. It's hard for me to wrap my head around, even though luckily I don't have to worry about it because Chica does the framework, so good luck to him on that. But are there any plans for wild weather events or natural disasters? Speaking of volcanoes, some natural disasters, yes. I mean, there is weather in game. Here, we'll change it back today. It gets foggy. Turn my night vision off. It gets foggy. Clear sky. Now, I'm in the swamp though, I think, or close to it, so the weather I choose might not be exactly what it's supposed to be. Because based on where you are in the world, there's different weather. So in the redwoods, it'll do, I think, a snowstorm, while in the desert it does a dust storm, and in the jungle it's a thunderstorm. And prepare your ears, it's loud. Um, but there's like thunderstorms and stuff already. I really want those sounds turned down though. It's cool to hear, but it's loud and annoying. Since dinos can sneak to the human island on boats, is there any incentives for the dinos to do this? I think I answered that earlier. And one of the things that the other person had suggested was being able to just ravage humans, which I said is a wonderful idea, actually. But I believe we'll have some perks that require you to go there, skins, nutrients, that kind of thing. So it'll be a mix of Mesozoic plants and modern plants, considering this like in a timeline. Hold on, I need to reread your question. Will it be a mix of Mesozoic plants and modern plants, considering it's a futuristic timeline or an alternative one? I'm not entirely sure on what the plant species are. I get to determine kind of what the dinosaurs eat, but that's about it. Oh, yay. Bohuslav fixed the one issue with Paki and its UV things. That's always good. Will there be anything to stop the bigger flyers from just flying to the human island, or will it just be the danger for humans? It'll just be a danger for them. I mean, you gotta remember that the tribals aren't just, tribals or whatever. They have means to do things and cause damage. They'll have traps, crossbows, um, tame species they can use. I need to go back that way, okay. To fight off these other dinosaurs. Will cannibalism be present in game, or do some creatures get debuffs or for eating the same species? I don't plan on adding any debuffs for cannibalism. I find that silly, and if you're hungry, you should be able to eat them. I mean, there are species all around the world that cannibalize purposefully, accidentally, just because they have to, and I think there is technically, yes, like a brain disease or something you can get from that if you cannibalize too much or whatever. Um, but I don't foresee too many people going around and purposely cannibalizing if they wouldn't already. Like I can make it not happen, but people are still going to go and do it. So what'll happen is you'll just gain food from it. You won't gain any nutrients. If you're a cannibalistic species like Peru, you will gain nutrients from your fellow Peru members. Is night vision planned to eventually be dynamic instead of a toggle? No, it'll always be a toggle, so long as I'm in charge of that at least. And that's because if it was dynamic, there are so many instances during dusk and dawn, caves, just even the difference in shadows between the desert and the red or the jungles. It's too much of a hassle to have to make it dynamic and look good in all those instances rather than just let players turn it on when they feel they need to. Can a dino overgrow or not? It cannot yet. There is a very special evolution planned whenever I'm done with all the other major mechanics that will allow species to overgrow by a little bit. I believe what I have planned for it is you'll basically get a 10% increase to all your stats, but it'll take 10 times longer to grow. So if you take 6 hours to grow to adult, it'll take 60 hours to grow, then get that extra 10%. And that just gives players, that extra bit of time to kind of keep playing that species and continue making progress if they want to. How can semi-aquatics get to the human island if there's a megalodon protecting the border to the other island, or is there like a portal? There'll be, I think, specific sections of the island that you can go across that won't have that issue. I'm pretty sure that's what we're planning to do. Like, it won't be just anywhere. You'll have to cross over like a certain area that looks like it's a more shallow sea to get there. And it'll just do like a little pop-up in an area or whatever and be like, do you want to travel here? If you say yes, you go. You say no, well, you're just kind of stuck there or whatever. And then it'll eventually go out to open sea. Or maybe it'll just be an automatic thing. One thing I really appreciate is the water ripples follow the flow of the river. Yes. Do you mean like the ripples here or the ones on land? And I saw that it looks a little glitchy over there, so we're gonna go over here. Because these ripples, it's a little hard to see, do go around like rocks and stuff. I should see if I can find some rocks then. Can a dino player become a tamed species? No. Players will never be tamed species. It will always be AI. Alright, we're going for a walk. Yes, Majungasaurus, or not Majungasaurus, Mahanajungasaurus is going to be in the game, not Majungasaurus. They're slightly different. So Majungasaurus is an abelosaurid, I think I want to say. Maybe a megalosaurid. It's a larger theropod. Well, not too large, but Mahajungasaurus is a crocodilian, and it will be in the game. Oh, we're in the glitchy part again. I want to see where I am, so we're going to go, and in case you didn't know this, if you go to lore on our website, the map, you can then take your coordinates, 180,000, 147,000. And if you fit find, you can find where you are. So we want to go over here. So I just need to go east. So I was going the right way. Let me pull that back up. Now speaking of maps, tribals will have a map that you'll have to kind of fill in as you travel, and I believe dinosaurs might be getting that as well. It's in the talks of them getting it. It's still kind of undecided though. But the reason we're kind of thinking about that for dinosaurs and tribals is because we feel that if players are going to do it anyways, they're going to look at a map, and we have an official map on our website. So there's no reason kind of not to add that into the game. Horseshoe crab is on the roster, yes. It'll be the last species to ever be added though. A fitting end, I guess not end, but a fitting finale to our game. Will Peru have its mouth open when it rests and sleeps, or no? Yes, it will. I don't think Kleiner's uploaded the animations yet. But yes, that was one of the specific things I had asked him to do for Peru is when it's resting to have its mouth open. Will the game support community servers and mods? Absolutely. A lot of this game is based on, I mean, if you look at who the founder is, Islander, he has multiple community servers for games similar to ours, Path, The Isle. He's very community driven, so he wants his game to be the same. So that's what we're going to be focusing on a lot. As for modding, I am all open for modding, and both officially supported and well, I don't know if I should say that. As the game dev, I will say that I'm open to official modding and stuff. Um, from a personal point of view, I don't mind people modding the game so long as they're not trying to get money from it. I think that's gross and yucky. But I mean, if you're able to get into our files and you want to change the stats of some dinosaur on your personal server before we officially add it, go for it. If you go in and start taking our models and adding custom species that you make people pay for, then that'll be shut down as quickly as we can. Finally in the swamp, and the swamp is cold. Especially because I'm in the water. The water is 10 degrees colder than the air, so I'm just going to rest up here for a bit until I get in range. I need this to go down to 47. Because the air temperature is 58, which means the water temperature is 48. And it needs to go to 47 because I think it truncates to the nearest one. So if it's 48.4, whatever, there we go. Now I should be able to go in and get bigger because bigger is better. How will cleaning others work? Will it give you more food if the dinosaur is bigger, or is it something different? So cleaning others, so for the AI, they'll come in and clean your mouth or back, depending on if you're a carnivore or herbivore. Clean out parasites, clean out junk from your mouth and stuff, and that'll kind of be it. You'll get healthier and have a cleaner mouth, and overall, just be cleaner, I guess. As for the playable version of that, yes, you'll gain some food from that. And I think that'll be just about it for it. They're going to be kind of like companion dinosaurs. One of the few that will be able to mix and mingle with any species and not incur any anxiety debuffs. Yes, the map would likely be a toggle in Scream or in the tab menu. Is there any playable that looks like Majungasaurus that will be added? Majungasaurus. Scorpio Venator, I think. So this is kind of what a Majungas looks like. Here's the Jurassic World version. And if I look up Scorpio Venator, I mean, it has a similar look. So I'd say that one. How are humans going to be able to tame the AI creatures? Is it going to be sort of a knockout tame or more of a passive tame? Not the arc route. Um, as much as I love the arc route, it won't be that way. It'll be passive. You'll have to steal eggs from nests and stuff, go back and raise them. And then that dinosaur will be trusted to you, and that'll be it. You have multiple slots for dinos or just one at a time to prevent revenge killing. I forget this answer. Because before I would say no, and now I think it's yes, but in a weird way, and it comes back to those multiple servers and stuff with the multiple islands. I think you'll have what it is now, and you'll have two slots, one for a human and one for a dinosaur. I think that is what it will be. Hooray. Smugsy can hop on in a little bit. She'll be able to show me around the map a lot better than I can. Onwards. The Nemi, is it coming soon or later? As an AI, it is coming soon. It'll come, oh, I'd say before the end of the year. At the end of the year as an AI. That's my hope. Fingers crossed. As playable, no, it won't come for a while. When you die, do you lose all your growth or just some? All of it. If I were to slay my Peru right now, I'd go back to the character selection screen and that'd be it. Like I mentioned earlier, there is this very special evolution planned that will mitigate some of that loss. You'll have the option to spawn again with some of your growth retained. Oh, I'm sorry. No. Sorry, Gushish. I think I said that right. I'm just gonna call you Gushy. Fruit gushers were amazing, by the way. 10 out of 10 snacks to kid. It'll come one day. But for now, it's just too small of a playable, and it serves a purpose in the ecosystem. But we have other species we want to focus on at the moment, and because we want to focus on these first 7 have to be strong candidates for keeping the game alive for several years to come. So we have to make sure that these all are looking good. People will want to play them all a lot and that kind of thing. I think that might be part of why Peru was added now, is because it's a good species to have, because people enjoy it. Although, to be fair, I would have enjoyed Macedonosaurus just as much, if not more, actually. Whoa, that was fun. Where are we? Hey, hey, Air. Air, come fix your game. Oh, that's good to know. I got stuck using the sprint key, but my stamina still drained. I think it was, I forget who it was, Doom? One of our QA members had that the other day, and I said, oh, I'll fix that. But now that I know that it doesn't drain stamina, I'm not going to fix it because there's no exploit there. I mean, yeah, you get this, don't have to hold shift down, that's it. But if you're still draining stamina, it's whatever. Will there be population control system to prevent everyone from playing the same large species at the same time, or just a free-for-all? Just a free-for-all. I had brought up a few different ideas to Islander, and he kind of shut those down. So I think we're just going to let it be a free-for-all. Longer to grow. You get the reward of keeping some. Yes. What playables are you guys working on right now? So currently, I mean, Eokar and Arana are technically still being worked on because they need their CC states and stuff added, which is like when you're knocked down, staggered, all that kind of fun stuff. What we're heavily working on is Peru and soon Stropio, how I see. This river does not actually exist below this. So if I scoot down, it's not actually river. He just has to adjust the height. It's easy for him to do then. Swim. How many playables are there now? If you were to play the game right now, there are the 2 dinosaurs and the tribal, and very soon Peru will be made playable. Okay, this river leads nowhere anyways. Gastonia, that's a name I recognize. Hey Furious, how would Packy versus Draco matchup be like? Let's see, while we wait for Smagsy to hop on. We'll come rest over here. And in case you missed it last time, I'll show this again. So you can see the breathing is going in, out, in, out. If I heal up, out, in. So it's tied to your stamina, which is just a fun little thing I like to bring to everybody's attention. But let's see, Peru and not Peru and Packy, Packy and Draco. And both have all their stats. I would give it to the Packy to be honest, but it's really hard to decide actually. So Draco is 300 kilograms and Packy is 500. And if we look at the abilities and stuff, Draco has a lot of bleed-based ones and has that echolocation thermal pulse effect, so it will be able to find where Packy is even if it's hiding. It has a flesh tear ability and that lets it heal up a little bit. So as it is dealing damage to you and dealing that high bleed, it's healing up on its own. Packy, though, has a lot of very powerful headbutt attacks, a speedy charge attack. It's a little menace. I need that tab. If we look at Draco, Draco is a fairly slow healer, and because it has that healing ability, and it has a very little amount of stamina as well. Very quick stamina drain, but decent recovery time. So it's meant to be very short burst, back off, short burst, back off. And that's kind of how Packy is defensively. It's a short, quick attack to punch them, get them hard, knocked on the ground, then you back off and get away from there. Packy has very good stamina. Wow, I forgot. But it does take a while to recover. I mean, I think I'd still give it to the Packy though. Speed-wise, Draco can run very quickly. It can run 50 kilometers an hour. Packy only gets about 30, 33, 33. Bleed resistance, Packy has a little bit, but not a lot. So I mean, Draco Bleed will work very well on it. And there is no fracture resistance, so I mean, Draco is going to get a fracture, it'll get knocked down for sure. I'd give it to the Packy. How's Tapijara and Scutellus? Or are they coming along later? They will be coming later. Will there be the dino with the ability to mimic other dinos' calls or no? Yes, City Patty I believe I still have as a mimic ability. It's very similar to an Oviraptor, so it's getting that kind of egg thief niche to it. So it's purposely having going to be able to mimic adult and juvie calls to lure in other juveniles of what it's calling. So if you're playing as Sidipati, maybe you'll call out as an Eocar juvie, another Eocar juvie, or another kind of similar size species might come over, and then you'll be able to kind of attack them and take them down. Because as small as it is, Sidipati is still going to be kind of a lethal little thing. I mean, it stands as tall as a human. I plan to give it some good good combat abilities and a lot of agility. He'll be a very angry little turkey. Can humans raise every creature in the game, or are some creatures off limits? Also, can humans steal a real person's egg and they hatch and raise the same creature, but the baby will be AI? So they can raise every species. Some will be harder to raise than others. And then keep in mind, raised species also are about half the strength of a normal one because of the in-game reason of tribal humans are not as capable of feeding and taking care of the dinosaurs as the dinosaurs are themselves. But yes, they'll be able to steal real, like, you say real, I know you mean like a player's eggs and stuff. And once they grab them, they'll no longer be an actual player egg. They'll just go back to being a normal AI egg. Instead of patties, it coming sooner or later? Let's see. Not soon. That little chuckle should give you your answer. That might change, but right now it's not soon. Do you know when there will be a demo when we can all try? There was one back in January. I don't know if there will be one again. I think from now on it'll all be the paid content through Patreon or when EA is released. Will EO and Arano get their calls redone because no offense intended, their calls feel as if they aren't coming from the dyno right now. Hey, we're always open to feedback and criticism and stuff, as long as you kind of give your reasoning for it. And I mean, you said it just doesn't feel like it, the call doesn't feel as good because it doesn't feel like the dinosaur sounds like that dinosaur, and that makes perfect sense. I mean, I like how the calls sound, so I think it's kind of personal bias and perception based on how we feel about each species and how it should feel and stuff. With like Peru, everybody kind of has that same generic feel. I mean, if you think of Peru, you see a giant croc, you think, oh, it should sound like a giant croc, and then you get a giant croc sound. With these other species, it's harder to kind of come in and create something new and get a good feel on what we want it to be for. I know you'll have a lot of bias for, like, say, Rex and something. You think of that Jurassic Park Rex sound. So if we want to try something new, it'll be difficult to do, um, but not impossible. And that's kind of how I see it with Io and Arano. They're new sounding, but they're not, how do I want to word this? They're just not what you're used to, I want to say. But that said, I need to check to see who did those calls, because I was wondering that the other day, because with Peru and Tropio, I realized that I am a lot more involved with what the calls and stuff, and I know Sound has done all those, and I don't remember who did the other ones. If it was an old sound designer or her. So it could also just be a different sound designer, different interpretations there, and that's partially why. What are you going to do to prevent mixed pack, and is Sarco going to be in the game? Sarco will not be in the game. The large crocodilian we have here is going to be Purosaurus. As per mixed packing, we'll have an anxiety system, and disease will also play a role in the mixed packing. I get the impression you guys really want to highlight every unique and underrepresented dinosaur. Have you ever seen Shunosaurus, medium-sized sauropod with a club at the end of a tail? I've gotten probably 100 different requests for Shunosaurus. And unfortunately, no, it isn't being officially added. I'd love to see it as a mod someday, but because of the other species we have, it just wouldn't fit as well. We have Bajatosaurus, which is 4 tons, that has those really cool neck spikes and stuff. And then we have Diplodocus, which is just a classic sauropod everybody kind of thinks of if you watch Walking with Dinosaurs or whatever. I mean, it's even if you've not seen those, you kind of look at it and you think of the generic, like Apatosaurus or whatever, Diplodocus, Brachiosaurus. So it's in there as the kind of the classics. And then we had the smaller Europasaurus, which is just a baby brachie basically. Shuno just kind of, it could fit in, but I don't think it would just because of its weight. I mean, and let me check again. 3 metric tons. That's what I thought. Yeah. So it's too close in size to Biotosaurus, which, and I'm trying to avoid similar sized genuses. So like you're not seeing two ceratopsids that are within a ton of each other. You know, we have Chasmosaurus, Lokiceratops, and Shrike. They're all a couple tons away from each other, and that's why we want to kind of keep it. Bahad and Shuno are just a little too close, unfortunately. Is there any plans on updating the website to show how much is done with the current creature? Boy, oh boy, I have some news for you. Okay, let's learn to type today. If you go to our website and you go to playables, you can see all released, in development, planned. And if you look here, you can see this is the progress done on them. Now, oh, you can see it down here too. So Eocar has 64% of its animations, model, texture, sounds, all that stuff. Peru is at 43%. Arano is at 46%. 45%. Coelophysis, 1%. So there is already a way to tell that. I don't know if you're going to get it any more in depth than that, but there is a way to see kind of how far along those are. Guinea-Cotis versus Utah Raptor. Let me go back over to my sheet. So Guinea-Cotis, I believe, is 900 or so, 775. It used to be 900. 775 kilos. And we're going against what again? Utah Raptor. Okay. So Guinea-Cotis is twice as heavy. Visually, I think they're about the same size, but Utah is a lot fluffier because of the feathering. It's a lot slimmer. Guinea-Cotis is going to be thick. So it's twice as heavy. It'll do much more damage. Utah will do a lot of bleed. You're basically putting a brawler versus a bleeder next to each other and telling them to fight. Now with Genny, it has a lot of abilities to keep the player it's attacking on edge. So it has the camouflage ability, so it can hide and ambush you. It has the blinding bile ability because I I think I was either at the zoo or something and I saw a camel and I thought we don't have anything in game that kind of like does camel-y things and spits at you. So I picked Genycotis then because I'm like, okay, Genycotis is going to have this blinding bile that now also it can camouflage and hide from you. It can now throw up onto you and cause you damage and blindness. And then it's just going to come in and maul you basically. So I mean, if it can do that to a Utah, it wins hands down. If it misses, the Utah is going to be able to pounce onto it or use its shred ability while chasing it and also be able to win. Whoever just asked Stego versus Allo, do you realize how large a Stegosaurus is and how big those spikes are? Who asked that? Ridgeback. Oh, you've been asking me all these questions anyways. No, a single Allo, there's no way it's going to take down a Stegosaurus. Unless you're, well, okay. Stego deals 1200 damage with its tail attack. If it hits an Allo's head, Allo is only... I know, he says. Allo is only 2,600 kilograms. So if it hits it in the head, it's down to 200 health. So, I mean, it can take 2 hits and then on the third one, it'll be killed. If it's hit in the head, it can only take 1 hit and then the second one is killed. I mean, if you're playing carefully, you can get some bleed in, maybe. But it's going to be hard. I mean, Allo, And I think the reason you ask that is because you assume Aloe has the pounce attack like it does in the Isle. It doesn't have a pounce attack in Echoes of Extinction. It's just too large of a species to have that. So what it has is a lunge bite claw, which is very similar to kind of how the Peru's lunge works. So you kind of be able to charge it up or tap it, and you'll kind of lunge forward and grab its stuff, slash them, bite them. And then it also has a tendon slash, which will just it's called a tendon slash. You can do it on any part of the body. It'll just deal a lot of a bleed. Um, but if it does hit one of the leg bones, um, it will cause them to not be able to run anymore. Which for a stego, that doesn't matter really. For smaller prey, that helps a lot. Um, but yeah, I'd still would give it to the stego because I mean, there's no way for the. I mean, the stego just needs to keep its tail facing a single aloe, and then you're good to go. Because stego, I mean, it has two different tail attacks, an upper tail attack, a stomp ability. It has a lot going for it, and a lot more health. Now, two aloes, maybe three. Three definitely takes it down. Two would be possibly. I missed this one. Honestly, for Rex, I like the idea of some low bellowing calls that kind of sound like it would vibrate your bones. I've I luckily don't have to think about Rex calls in a while, but I've been thinking about how I want to go about that because I'm very biased towards Jurassic Park. But I know those low deep calls that like crocodiles do are there, but also crocodiles have those growls and grunts and stuff, so I could see a Rex still having some of that Jurassic Park sounds to it. Permian creatures. I need to see if it is from the Permian age. There's Titanoboa is from after the dinosaurs, so it's not. Beelzebufo I think is from after or during the Mesozoic. Late Cretaceous, yeah. Um, Arthropleura, that's one definitely. Um, from before the dinosaurs. That I think that's from the Permian age. It's from the Carboniferous. I know that. Let's see, what is the Carboniferous again? Okay, so it comes right after the Carboniferous. Okay, got too many names. Where's Mastodontosaurus? I wanted to see where that one's from because I can't remember. Middle Triassic, 247 million years ago. So that one could have been part of it then, potentially. Torvo versus Stego. Now that, yes, that would be a good fight because they're about the same weight. Um, yeah, Stego's 6 tons. Torvo is 5 tons. Torvo has a decent amount of damage to it. Stego has a lot more, but I mean Torvo's gonna be a lot more agile. That would be a good fight. Like the uniqueness of sizes you guys are developing for your dinosaurs, it's one of the cons of Path of Titans, I'd say, because it's slot system removing the personality of dinos, in my opinion. Um, I think you mean like the different sizes and stuff between each of them, and yes, that was purposeful. Does it add a lot more species? Yes. Um, but I think it's beneficial because now we have an ecosystem that spans from, you know, a few kilos all the way up to several tons, and there's a little bit in between. There's no huge gaps in between everything, and I think that's going to be really, really, really beneficial. And I don't think it'll be an issue overall. I mean, if official servers will likely have all the species enabled, but community servers very, very easily will be able to disable and enable certain species. So if you want everything under a ton to be disabled in a community server, go for it. Really like the idea of aloe utilizing its claws rather than just adding a pounce. The first thing I think of when I see an aloe is a claws. Yes. Yes. The first thing I think of aloe is kind of that scene in Walking with Dinosaurs when it grabs onto the Diplodocus and then bounces off. And that's kind of like a pounce ability. It's cool and stuff. Um, and I kind of wanted to explore it a little bit with the tendon slash, or not the tendon slash, the lunge. So there might be some kind of animation there where it kind of lunges at and pushes on and then backs off. But there won't be like holding on to it or anything. How it This has most likely already been asked, but how is combat in Echoes balanced? Face tanking, HP chunking until death, or more visceral tactic-based combat? Right now, it's all face tanking. That's because it doesn't. There's no real special abilities, unfortunately. I mean, the Eokar has its triple bite, and Arano has its shank ability, but there's none of those versatile crowd control abilities that really can sway the tide of the battle. I mean, once um, Eokar can grab things, I mean, we'll have that mini game come in, and that'll be a whole different combat experience from what we're used to. When Rano comes in and starts shoving Eokars down to the ground, Eokar players are going to have to start thinking differently about how they're going after a Rhinosaurus. See you, Ridgeback. What do you think about adding breeding and nests? If my dinosaur dies, I continue playing as one of the young for nest instead of starting over. So yes, I believe our nesting system will consist of some courting animations and nesting, of course, like building a nest and then raising young. So yeah, you'll be able, I mean, if you were to die off, you could easily just click to spawn into that egg of your own species, or even your own egg in a way, I guess. Can't wait to scare the hell out of humans as an Arthro. I know, especially in like caves and stuff, because Arthro is really cool for those that don't know. It'll be able to. Now I know it's technically an herbivore now. Um, in fact, it might have always been an herbivore, but I like the idea of it being able to eat meat and stuff. And I think like modern centipedes and millipedes and stuff do eat meat to some extent. I think centipedes eat it fully, millipedes eat vegetation and some. So I'm not entirely opposed to us having it eat meat as well, but it is going to have some really cool abilities for ambushing predators and prey rather. It'll be able to smell like a corpse. So when I hold Q here, you'll see that the plant symbol comes up. You'll see that a meat icon comes up, and that could be an arthropleura just making a scent symbol, basically. Um, it'll be able to do that, climb around on trees and rocks and stuff, jump down from them, and land on things, and inflict them with a venom. I forget exactly what its venom does. Let me see if I have it written down. Oh, and it can also burrow itself like underneath cover and foliage. Heavy damage. Oh, it's just damage over time venom. Very simple. Which makes sense because I mean it is a weaker playable, so it needs a little bit of extra oomph to it. Is there any consideration for aquatic reptiles and predators, or the ocean's going to be focused on? Or less focused on? They'll be less focused on overall. There are a few aquatic species that we do have planned, but the actually going through modeling the entire ocean and adding a specific ecosystem for it, that'll probably be something later on for like a DLC if we were to do that. I always say that the two DLCs I'd like to see and are most likely are an ocean DLC and a Cenozoic one. Bajatosaurus versus Mipe. Mipe, I assume it's going to be the biggest mid-tier, and its claws may do a lot of bleed. I didn't close out, did I? No. So yeah, Deinocheirus is kind of where I start the apex tier. Before that, it's kind of where the sub-apex is, and that's kind of Iguanodon, Lokiceratops, Torvo, Anki, and Stego. And you asked about Bajatosaurus. So Mipe is 3.6 tons, Bahad is 4 tons. Now Mipe's going to be a very fun, and I'm glad somebody brought up Mipe because I always like talking about Mipe. Mipe's going to be really fun and unique to everything else. And I know I say that about everything, but this one really. Usually your species needs night vision to see during the day or the night. Like if I didn't have night vision, it looked like that. I have to turn it on. Mipe is going to basically have night vision on at night across the entire map, and it's going to look like it's day. Now the inverse is during the day, it's going to have a bit of a secluded range, almost like it's one of those cave-dwelling species of slug or insect or whatever. It's going to have, and this is where I contradict myself a little bit, a pounce ability. Now this pounce ability is not meant for larger species. It is meant for smaller ones, and I will be sure to add weight-based things that ensure that. So if the species is, under half, maybe a little bit less, it will. I don't quite know how I want to envision, but I definitely picture it just taking its claws and just smashing down on the creature. And I hear a Smaugsy, and attacking and slashing at it. Um, and then it has its echolocation ability, which is going to be like a wireframe, which I think is going to look really, really cool. And I might do an extra long stream today. I don't mind. I'll go in engine and show you what I mean with that wireframe look. I forget where I got the reference from, but there was somewhere I saw it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, this is what I want. But yeah, Mipe is really cool, but it's going to be more catered towards attacking smaller mid-tiers than ones its own size or larger, like Bajatosaurus. Now, Bajatosaurus, it has a tail whip, directional neck and tail attack, and a stomp. So it's a lot of very secluded attacks. It's defensive style. It is meant to stay in one place and defend itself, or just run away. It's not meant to be going after prey and stuff, which makes sense. I mean, it's a sauropod, but let me check the speeds real quick, because that'll also give a good indication on how this battle would play out. So Mipe can run at 33 kilometers an hour, which is because it's meant to be. What are you doing? Sorry, my lizard started running around for whatever reason. Mipe is supposed to be more of an ambush predator that makes those like more references. The clicker sounds from oh my gosh, what's the name called that has the clickers? What's that game? It has can't call them zombies. Clickers and the Rat King or whatever it is. It has the little girl and the guy, Joel. Oh, I forget the name. But those kind of sounds and stuff to kind of find its prey with the echolocation. 33 kilometers an hour. That's what I was looking for though. Bajatosaurus, 30. Last of Us. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, Last of Us. Those are gonna be some of the inspiration sounds probably, because they're very creepy, but that's exactly what I need. Bajatosaurus can run a little bit faster, 36.9 kilometers per hour. I mean, I'd say it'd be an equal fight, but I don't know until it's in game, obviously. I'd say equal though. Oh, you're right here. It's gonna be horrifying turning up on what you think is food, and it's just get dropped on by a giant arthropod. Exactly. That's the. Have I seen the new waterfall? I don't think I have. Where is it? Are you gonna have a lot of safe drinking spots where dinos need to go to rivers to drink? They all kind of killed their Deinosuchus play due to that. So what we are doing is we're in the Wishbone. Wishbone will be one of the spawns for Peru, I guess then. So what we're going to do is all of the water sources, and I don't know if it's true on this map yet, but definitely on the dinosaur one, all of the water sources will be connected to each other in some way, either through underground passages, through riverways, or just by a very short distance that you can go over land. Is there like a predicted date for early access? Not quite yet. Well, there is. Internally, yes. I know when early access is likely to hit. It's not public information until Islander and KD decide it is, unfortunately. Is Beelzebufo going to be out of the... is going to be the OV of Echoes? I need more of a reference from that. What kind of OV? Like OV... Oh, obviously OV Raptor, I assume you mean, but... I like to have vision on, I can see. If you have a game reference, that would be helpful. Ah, look at that. There she goes. Two hours you sat up there, and now you decide to jump down. Don't look at me, silly lizard. So I assume Torva would absolutely destroy both Mipe and Bahad. It'll do well against them, but I don't know necessarily if it's going to be destroying them instantly or whatever. So Torvo's abilities consist of it coming in and knocking down prey and then mauling them. That doesn't exactly work for something similar your size. Now it has the firepower to go after them, so it might be able to do well. If I jump from here, will I die? Yes. Onwards. Is it going to be able to steal eggs? Because on the website it says it can smell nests. Also, please don't say it's coming later. It's coming later. Sure. I'll go for a walk. I'm just chatting. Why is your name Void Mother Sma? You're missing the G. But yes, to answer your question, so it is what, Prehistoric Planet, I think is what the show is, where it featured it and it snatched up a juvie and ate it or something, or a small lizard. That's the idea, basically. So it'll be able to smell nests. It won't be able to eat the eggs, but if there is a juvenile in that nest, it can snatch them up and swallow them real quick. So that's why it'll be able to smell nests. You know what? I don't feel like walking. I want to run. Where are we going? You're taking me up a hill. I'm going to test the IK. Look at that. I mean, it's not perfect, but it makes me happy. His left back leg does a little weird thing, but... Oh, down here. I think... Oh yeah, this coastline is new. Right, so... I remember now. I had complained to Air, in the most loving way possible, that the map got cut off here, and you could just see into nothingness. And I said, can you please fix this? Because it keeps bothering me. Like, you can't see it, usually. But when I was on the map and stuff, editing it in Editor, I could tell every time, and it just... I knew people were going to eventually get to see it. So I think he made this entirely a new coastal cliff area. Scorpio Venator. I saw on the website that it's a speed demon like Utah, so I guess demolishing everything smaller than it, right? Yep. And I mean, it has capabilities to go after larger things. So Scorpio Venator is going to excel, and I took the name because Scorpion. Um, it doesn't have venom, but it's going to. Ooh, it's getting toasty here. It is going to be able to take on infections very well and expel those onto other species. So as it's biting thing, it's going to have infectious bites. Oh, she shrunk again. Any info or concepts on the Giga? Giga is going to play probably very similar to what you think. It's going to be a heavy bleeder. Um, it has a flesh tear ability, I believe. Sorry, Smougsy, I need to look. I want to make sure I'm right. Yes, okay, so it has a bite and a directional bite. Pretty common, what you would assume. And then it has the flesh tear, which is very similar to what Draco's will look like soon, minus the healing effect. You'll just grab, well, yeah, minus the healing effect. Um, you'll grab a chunk of meat off, you'll be able to eat it, but it'll also deal heavy bleed. It then has a Gnash, which will be another very heavy bleeding ability, similar to the flesh tear, but it won't take a chunk of meat out, and it'll deal more bleed and less damage. Flesh tear, good bleed, good damage. What is it called? I already forgot the name. Gnash. Gnash. Very high bleed, low damage. The environment is just beautiful. It is. They've done a fantastic job. And I know I'm a little out of my element here as a Peru, but I think what somebody had said earlier is that this could pass as a heal monster skin, and it absolutely could in this environment now. Skinny Codus, Spicomelis, Mastodonsaurus, and Arthro all coming later or somewhat soon. Please don't say later. Okay. I think I've shared the first 13 species with you guys. So Draco is 6, Deinocheirus is 7, and then this is in order. Galley, Utah, Hasmo, Spicomelis, Enigmasaurus, and Spinosaurus. So one of those is coming sooner than the others. Gennicodus is coming much later. Arthroplura is coming later. Mastodonsaurus is coming much later. But that can easily change. I have a death wish. I have all the species mapped out on when I want them to be released. But like I said, that very, very easily can change. Okay, Smougsy. Require a TP. She will figure out that. Hopefully. I'm assuming the flesh tear won't feel any hunger, right? Infinite food glitch. It will, because it'll rip a chunk of meat off and you can eat it. Infinite food glitch. Hooray! You'll have to think on that, because it could be an infinite food glitch. There's the tomatoes, by the way. Feel bad for Credo being the only big carnivore in the ocean. Things like Lasmo, Lepleurodon, and Prognathagon being added would give Credo more competition. So it will, I think originally, yes, it is technically a saltwater one, but it'll be freshwater. So it'll be living in the river systems and stuff. It won't be living out in the ocean. So it'll have Peru as a friend. Other semi-aquatics like Deinocheirus arano and Spino, Macedonosaurus, Onychodus. It'll have some friends. Back to swamp we go. No, I'm climbing the mountain. I want to go back to the new volcanic area. There we are. I see carrots and mushrooms. Good. Eat them. Always eat your vegetables. Can semis swim / drink in the ocean? Oh, semi-notice. The little... Oh no. I know it won't hurt me, but I will get stuck in there. That is... That'll be fun. These little tar traps look just like the rock. I almost ran in there. Whee! I think Credo has the upper hand in the ocean since it doesn't need water to drink. Technically speaking, it does. It will have a water drain just like Peru does. It's just when you're swimming, you won't have any drain. But if you are on land, because I mean, you'll be able to go on land to some extent. I mean, if you were to get grabbed and thrown on land or something, it needs some land animations. It needs something there. It'll just drain real quick. Did I say Genicotus was semi-aquatic? If I did, I didn't mean it. It's not. It's not semi-aquatic. I think it might do well in the water, I can't remember. But it's not like going to be swimming around like a whatever thingy. Map looks super sick, by the way. You guys cooked. That's all thanks to our level designers, Suna and Air, who I miss their streams dearly. Is there a difference with ocean and freshwater? Like players can swim in the ocean to get around the island, but they can drink it. The water will drain it. So there will be a... Ooh, okay. I'll answer that, then I'll show this. IK things are fun, especially when the collision is special. Is there a difference with the ocean and freshwater? Yeah, so you won't be able to drink from the ocean. Eventually you'll be able to swim in it. You can't right now. Don't tell anybody. But there will be a perk that lets you drink from salt water. And then yes, I believe... Do I have to start from Juvie if my dinosaur dies? Yes, and I believe Nemi is one of the last ones, yeah. In my current thing, it's marked as third to last. It's species number 50. But yeah, fun Peru IK things when the collisions don't match up is this. Because his species get all put under him. Where was it? I think it was in the temple in the desert. Smugsy, can we go there real quick? I want to do the feet thingy, and then I'm going to go do engine for a hot minute, and then head off. Burrito shark can survive both in salt and fresh as default. I don't know yet. We'll get there when we get there. Are humans going to have the ability to build bases on the Dino Island and keep them, or will they disappear over time? And will dinosaurs just as easily overpower human bases and destroy them in one shot? So yeah, very valid concerns. And that's also part of why we have two different islands. So humans will only be able to build their massive bases on the human island, this one you're seeing right now. On the dinosaur island, they'll only be able to build small bases, tents, little forts and stuff, nothing crazy. As per destructibility, it'll depend on the materials. If you're making your base out of wood, thatch, that kind of stuff, it's getting destroyed real quick. This is not the temple I wanted. I wanted the central one, the city. I'm sorry. The city. I think there should be more ocean gameplay with things like archipelagos, volcanoes, caves, and things to make the ocean more entertaining with aquatics, swimming, and possibly add more aquatics. I think I said it earlier, and I've said it many times, but I know it's something people always ask about, especially Cenozoic stuff and aquatic stuff. And I always say that it will probably be a DLC if we do it. All right, let's go. Are you kidding me? Ay, ay, ay. Will dinosaur players be able to walk backwards and sideways? Some species, yes. Most species, no. Where? What? Where did the world go? Like, I kind of need that. God, you're kind of slow, Peru. Do I speed you up? No. I do the leg thing. Yes. What's my favorite thing? I know it needs fixed, but it's so fun. Preview of Mahajangasukas right here. Oh, you already submitted it? Good. Yeah, it's because, I mean, the IK I think is correct on where it's doing. It's just the collision on these rocks here is very off. So it just causes issues. Okay, I'm going to Alt F4, bring back the music, and we're going to go in Engine for a minute. I just want to show off the lunge ability. As it is right now, and then I'll be off. Yeah, hi. Sorry, Smougsy. No, don't open anything. That looks much better. probably won't be able to get it exported in time. That's okay though. Delete. Peru, okay. Yes, that's one of the new spawns. So yes, I spawned in the water now. And this lake also doesn't have the right water thing. It's fine. Oh, good. You can hear the juvie sounds. The corrected bite. But the lunge ability. So it'll be... That ambience is too loud for me. It'll be two different things with the lunge, and it doesn't have a water one yet. I need those animations. I actually forgot about that it needs water ones, so I need those made then. But you'll either be able to hold it, hold RMB, and that'll kind of bring you back a little bit, open your mouth, and you'll get ready and you can pounce, or rather lunge where you want to go. Or if you tap it, it'll just go right forward. So if I tap it, he kind of jumps forward a little, does his lunge thing, and that's it. It's only the animation that's set up right now. Nothing else is. It'll be worked on. If I hold it, you can see it waits a little and then it plays that animation, just because I don't have the holding animation yet. Yeah, and you can see it uses... Ooh. Haha. Bugs. I'll fix that then. I was gonna say that it can use stamina. I can also spam it, apparently. I know why I can spam it. One tag. You have it as a, if you clip this, you can, definitely. Yes, that's what it is. I just need to... Secondary ability. Fire stamina. That should be good. No, I still can. Well, the stamp thing's fixed at least. I'll fix that off stream then, because it'll take a bit. What will the dynamic between Peru and Deinocheirus be? I think it'll be Peru. I don't know what that word is. I'm blanking on the word, but Peru favored, that's it. Peru favored in the water, Deinocheirus favored on land, just because of the agility difference there, but hopefully somewhat equal. But yeah, thanks for tuning in today. I should be on next week. I don't know if Rar will be on again soon. He might be on me next week, but yeah. Be sure to check out our website if you want to go and support us. There's a support channel there. We really do appreciate it. Of course, only support if you're able to. Be sure to just check out the Discord, all that kind of stuff. It's all down in the description of the video or stream. And